Hey, this is Frank the Pest Geek. I'm here in Miami doing a horticultural consultation on a new client. And I'm going to show you everything that we found with this landscape and what needs to be fixed. Check this out. So we're here in the pool house, and what I'm looking for is the irrigation pump. I couldn't find it anywhere on the house. There's the irrigation pump. It's a really old pump. And there is the zone valve, and it does not have a timer. You have to manually do it yourself. So I come over here and I try to turn this thing on, and I don't know if you can hear it, but that pump is locked up. That pump is not working. It's frozen. So now they're going to need a whole new irrigation system before we get started on our lawn care. Why? Look at all the drought stress already. And we're in March here in Florida. And if you're looking at drought stress on a lawn, this is what drought stress. People think, oh, I got chinch bug. No, you don't. If you look at this, you look at the blade, a nice leaf should look something like, see, this is already showing drought stress. You see that V pattern? I don't know if you can see it. It's curled up and it's starting to show that V pattern. See how it's closed up? That's drought stress. That's what it looks like. You know, this is probably chemical or something else. The burn, somebody, they're doing work on the house. We don't know, but this is all drought stress over here. Weeds are surviving in certain areas. Let me walk over here with you. You can see all of that is drought stress. Drought stress. Drought stress. There looks like there was a little garden there. Weeds are starting to die because there's no water. But these are still pretty succulent, actually. They just feel a little dry. But all of this is drought stress. And this is what a leaf is supposed to look like. And nice open leaf. A closed leaf, it turns in, it starts curling on itself. That you can see like this. It's curled up, it's half the leaf. This is how you tell you have drought stress. We've had a little bit of rain, but my suspicion is this year we might not get early rains in the spring. A lot of gardens are going to suffer. This whole area needs to be completely killed with a non-selective herbicide. We're never going to get grass to grow in here. Nothing is ever going to grow in there. We're just not going to get enough roots to go across to fill those areas in the summer. This has to be, this was a garden here. Looks like there was maybe some trees and some mulch. That's going to have to be leveled out, and this whole area has to be basically killed. My recommendation is, you know, use a product like Roundup. If you know, you can use Roundup. A lot of people are freaking out because of the cancer, but the reality is a lot of those cases, when you look at, they didn't read the label, they didn't understand the SDS, the material safety data sheet, they didn't wear protection. They were landscapers doing landscaping work for 20 years, not wearing any PPE. And yeah, you put yourself at risk. Exposure times the application, the exposure is going to equal your risk. And so if you've been doing it for 20 years unprotected, you're at bigger risk than somebody making an application once. And I would kill this entire thing completely, down to the roots, with a non-selective herbicide. And then I would plant my sod right over that. And that's what I would do, because there is no saving this. There's no, I don't have a weed killer that's going to deal with this grass. This is not a plant. Weed killers only know the difference between dicots and monocots, and then you have sedges. And it doesn't know the difference between a grass, one species of grass, and another species of grass. It only knows the difference between a broadleaf weed, okay, and a grass. And that's what it makes distinction between one or the other. So if you've got grasses already encroached, you've got crabgrass that's already established, it's going to be very difficult. And what I would do in this scenario is kill it all, come in with sod, and replace it all with sod. I would not, like some guys are going to cheat. They're going to take a weed eater and they're going to just cut that to the ground really low, and then they're going to come in and lay sod over it to do a cheap job because the owner isn't willing to pay what it costs to do it right. I mean, understand that if you're not willing to pay as a customer what it takes to do it right, and it doesn't come out right, then you've got no one to blame but yourself in this situation, because the cost of what it costs is the cost to do it right. And it costs 2 to 3 times more to do things right than it does to get a cheap estimate to do something and say they're going to lay sod on top of that existing grass. You're going to get all kinds of weed problems in the future. That's not the right way to do it. I was a build and install contractor for a long time, and I understand this. Plus, I'm a certified horticultural specialist, and I'm a certified pest control operator in Florida. So there are right ways to do things, there are wrong ways. This grass, we could get rid of that weed right there, but look at all this grass in between. This is not going to be solved. So this all has to be killed and replaced. That is going to be the best advice I'm going to give this client. But irrigation is a problem now. They want me to start with the landscaping and start treating their fruit trees, and there's no water on this property. So it would be really bad of me as a contractor to take on this client and tell them, yes, we're going to solve the issue with the fruit trees, when you need a ton of water at this time of year to deal with these fruit trees, because they need lots of water this time of year and you have no irrigation. Okay, so we came to do a follow-up. The customer told us that they changed the irrigation pump. Well, they got it working. Now, the only problem I see with this is you've got a bad rotary. The zone valve is leaking, and there's no timer on this. It's a manual operation, so you've got to change this manually and do it manually every single time. That's going to be a problem to try to manage this. So we're walking around now, we're trying to see what kind of damage there is on the property, and as you can see, whoa, just got sprinkled. That's a bad head. Whoa, getting out of the way. So this is the back zone of the property, and it seems like all the heads are working, which is nice. It's obviously a well, and yep, these are all working pretty nicely. I'm gonna get wet here doing this inspection, but yeah, most of the heads are working. There's one there in the corner, and so at least I'm happy about this. And we do this inspection on every client we take on to make sure, because if you have a bad irrigation system, no amount of chemical is going to make your lawn look nice if you don't have even. You can see that head over there. See all that dryness? It's missing it completely. So we could be spraying this entire area. And that head, because that head is bad, this place is going to be dry. It's getting no real coverage. Whoa! Yeah, this is the liability of doing irrigation inspections. You're going to get wet. All right, so we're going to go ahead now. We got to manually see if it drops. Let's wait until we hear it drop. Let me see if you can hear it. There's air siphoning out of that. I mean, I'm going to recommend they replace it and put a timer on this. There's obviously some water leaking from there. Let's see if this is enough time. So we changed zones. Let me go up front and take a look up front and see what zone is on now. And they're doing a lot of remodel work here. Remodeling this, they're gutting the inside of the house completely. They just bought it. So, yep. Okay, so we're just gonna have to do some head adjustments, but a lot of heads. That pump is a big pump to pump all these rotary nozzles. All right, so it looks pretty decent actually. We've seen worse. We go in and half the heads are destroyed. The pump was locked up. The pump wasn't gonna work. We got that one over there. So obviously that hill is gonna be a problem in the future. See the drought on that hill? That's why there's a nozzle in the center right there, because this one hits it. And here's going to be a problem in the future. There's no way we're going to get grass to grow here. Why? Look at all the shade. There's just almost complete and total shade from the live oak trees. Now they did thin them out. So the secret here to make this grass grow, I mean, all this has to be killed with Roundup really and resodded completely. There's nothing going to grow here. This is why it's bare, because of all the shade. You can see it's already died before from not having any sun. This head is going to have to be replaced. See, this is why we do an inspection. That thing isn't moving. It's just stuck there. So what we find is here's no water reaching here. This is completely dry. Well, of course, that one isn't moving, so it might reach it in the future. Yeah, it should be able to reach because it's reaching over here. And then this one over here is at a really bad angle where it's not, it's, you know, you see, look at the angle. It's twisted. There's a water line leak somewhere, so there's a broken pipe. And I'm going to assume it starts over here. Here's where the water starts. And there's a broken line, so irrigation team is going to have to see the water flowing. And it's starting to flow and it ends right there. It's pocketing right there. So this is not good. See how that irrigation head hits that? How do you fix this? Well, you remove it from here, you put it down there somewhere, and you put it down there somewhere so you don't get this direct hit, because eventually that trunk is going to rot, and we're going to show you how that trunk is starting to rot after a while. You know, these are all the problems that we look for before we take on a client, especially on a property this big. You know, this is going to be $300 and something a month for us to manage this property, and we got to get you the best result. If your irrigation isn't perfect, your landscaping isn't perfect, you don't have a landscaper that's going to mow this correctly at the right height, at the right frequency, sharpen blades, and not scalp the lawn, all the chemical in the world doesn't make this look good. All right, so I think we're good with this front, with this analysis. Let me turn on the rest of the system. We're going to flip this off. This is a pain. I don't know why you have a $1 million house with an irrigation system that is not manual. This is a big problem right here. That's dangerous for a filter. If that filter overloads and that thing explodes, it can take off your head. This is really, really bad for the pool guy who's been maintaining this house not to fix that and get that replaced. Okay, let's find out where the next one is. All right. Okay. So we now, little nozzles Looks like they replaced that nozzle because it was bad. Good. So it's actually not that bad. You know, that one in the corner needs work over there. I don't know if you can see it. It's not putting out as much as it should. This is good. This is good. Ah, here's a problem. So these have to be straightened out. Minor. I would probably look at, this is an adjustable nozzle. Now there's nothing here in the middle. Here it is. Here it is. It's clogged. You got a head that one needs to be replaced. See, if we wouldn't find this, we get into fall now and spring. And spring now, this area would be dying, and we're asking, like, you know, did it get chinch bug or something? So that head over there has a problem. That one needs a brand new nozzle pop up. You know, this one probably needs to pop up a little higher. It's too sunken in. But all of this needs to be killed too, by the way. This is all Bermuda, and it's encroached from the next door neighbor. Now we have no irrigation out here. And here's a problem. So they're going to have to get irrigation, or this is just going to die. Look how drought stressed that is. We could have lost pressure from this line over here, obviously. Whoops. There's a busted line when they did all that digging out, which is expected. If you're digging out all of this material and taking out trees, there's a busted line. So we have a pressure loss. And that's normal. When you're doing landscape work, you're going to break something. Yep. So this I don't like right here. It's going to rot out that palm tree. Hey, this is Frank the Pest Geek. If this video has been helpful to you, do me a favor. Give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and share it with your friends. This is Frank the Pest Geek wishing you a pestacular day.